Hi everyone. By the end of this class, you'll be able to express your feelings towards traveling to other countries. You'll learn how to use noun phrases to do this. In our previous class, we learned how to express these ideas, and what we focused on learning was how to express these ideas and using the noun phrases as the subject of our sentence. What we're going to do today is we're going to focus on the right side of this chart, and we're going to learn how to use the noun phrases as the object of our sentence. So if you recall our previous lesson, we learned one thing I really miss is my mom's cooking. And we learned this sort of formula here, subject plus relative clause plus the verb to be and then the object. That's the activity. What we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to borrow this object and we're going to turn that into the subject of our sentence. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep one of those ideas there so you can see exactly what happens whenever we make that particular change. What we want to do is we want to change this statement, one thing I really miss is my mom's cooking, into my mom's cooking is one thing I really miss. By the way, it's important to mention, and I think I did not mention this in our previous lesson, that what you see in parentheses is optional. That means that you can either use it or exclude it from your sentence. So one thing that I really miss is my mom's cooking. That's correct. But also if you just say one thing I really miss is my mom's cooking, either one of those two sentences is correct. Let me write this structure down so you can see what's going to happen whenever we make this change. As I mentioned previously, what we want to do is we want to change this noun phrase that is being used as the subject. That means that the noun phrase one thing I really miss is the subject of our sentence. And basically what we want to do is we want to change that into being the object of our sentence, as you can see here in our next example. So the structure is the following. What we're going to do is we're going to change my mom's cooking into that being the subject of our sentence. All right, so let me go ahead and write that down. I'm going to say my mom's cooking. That's becomes the subject of our sentence now. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that this is quite clear. So I'm going to put in those spaces there. So I'm also going to go ahead and change that color to make sure that we see what's happening, right? So that's in green. The subject is in green. So I'm changing my mom's cooking, which was the object of our previous sentence, to that being the subject of our sentence now. Now, notice that the verb to be also changes in location and the verb to be follows the subject. So my mom's cooking. All right, and that's the verb to be is. Let me change the color there as well. Okay, there we go. Then this follows the noun phrase. All right. So what do I mean by the noun phrase? Previously was the subject of our sentence, and also that would follow the relative clause. So literally, this is what I'm gonna put here. I separated it so that you could see actually what happened there. All right. But the noun, and I think I colored that differently. So let me make sure everything matches here. All right. And that's basically what happened. Just a couple of things changed. Number one, we had to change the object of our previous sentence to that being the subject of our new sentence. So my mom's cooking. And then that followed the verb to be. So the verb to be follows the subject. My mom's cooking is one thing I really miss. If we look at our previous examples, the ones that we did in our previous lesson, in which we said one thing I'd be nervous about is getting lost. So let's say that I wanted to change this idea and I wanted to use this noun phrase, but now being used as the object. All right. And so let me write that idea down. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this this activity getting lost, which in our previous sentence was the object of our sentence, and we're going to change it to the subject. So, for example, we'll say getting lost. All right, that becomes the subject of our sentence. Okay, that follows the verb to be is, and then that will follow the noun phrase. All right, so we're gonna say is one thing. Okay, and then that follows the relative clause. I'll be um, nervous about. All right. Very important. I want you to notice what happens with this preposition. This preposition will typically go at the very end, as you can see. So I want to emphasize this real quick. And what I would like for you to do is to use the same ideas that you wrote down in the previous class, but change the order of them. The goal is to practice. As you can see, we have the same ideas here on the example. Something I'd be nervous about is making new friends. What we do is we change the order of this and we say making new friends is something I'd be nervous about, or making new friends is something that I would be nervous about. Two people I email every day are my parents. My parents are two people I would email every day. So what I would like for you to do is to practice making the previous sentences to those being used as the object of your sentence, sort of like the example that you see here.